I don't need a microphone. I'm a theatrical professional.
Use it anyway.
Oh, that's too close.
Wow.
These sure is SM58s? These are the workhorse. Over there, recording $99. You could throw these things around. You can drop them 1,000 times. Great
Which we
audio.
have.
It's the only. I think it's a dynamic. I can't remember, but the only dynamic that you can use in both stage and studio recordings. Anyways, Shure SM58. If you're looking to start a podcast and you've got $200 to invest, buy 2 SM58s.
Tell me more, Travis, about this amazing invention.
Listen, I'm not sponsored by Shure. I just appreciate them.
But we could be.
We could be.
I don't know why we're telling you folks. I'm pretty sure the board of directors of Shure Microphones are not saying. Are you?
There's some waves in the back. Hi, everybody. Who in this room does not know who we are? Okay, great. Some hands.
Do you really know
Terrific.
who you are?
So my name is Travis McElroy, and to my left is my father, Clint McElroy. Not just my father, my co-creator.
Well, I'm your co-creator.
Yes. But we do a bunch of podcasts. Together we make The Adventure Zone. I also make My Brother and Me, as well as Schmanners, Trends Like These, Till Death Do Us Blart. Those are the big ones. There's a new episode coming up soon. We've already recorded it.
What about the McElroys will be in Trolls 2?
The McElroys will be in Trolls World Tour, you mean? Yes. We also make that one. We haven't made an episode in 5 months, but I'd say we're still making it. We make some graphic novels together. We did the Adventure Zone graphic novel book 1, Here There Be Gerblins, and book 2, Murder on the Rockport Limited, and we are currently working on, just about done, with Crystal. No, we're working on Crystal Kingdom.
Pedals to the Metal.
Yes. Pedals to the Metal is the next one out, available for pre-order at theadventurezonecomic.com. Let's see, we did a mini-series for Marvel called Journey into Mystery.
Right.
And
we also had an appearance in Marvel Comics 1001.
That's true.
And I did a 3-issue run of Marvel Team Up with Captain Marvel and Ms. Marvel.
Yes. So what I'm saying is we're legit.
Yeah, we're the real deal.
It's not an accident that we're here, all right? So get off our cases.
We knew what you were thinking.
Who are these chuckleheads? Well, we're professional chuckleheads, thank you very much. So we're going to do some Q's and some A's. You will provide the Q's, and we shall provide some A's, hopefully. If you want to ask questions about that, any of the stuff we listed, any of that stuff, we're happy to help. Here's what we're going to do. I have a rule when we do Q&As, which is behind the mic, we're going to line up, but I only want to see 5 people at any given time, because what I don't want is for somebody to wait like an hour in a line of like 30 people and not get to ask their question. I'd feel so bad about that.
By the way, there's like 7 seats in the front row.
Yeah, if anybody wants to come scoot up here. So, if you have a question for us, not just a question in general, and you would like to come line up at the microphone, please do. Not everyone at once. Okay, now, go. Okay, and if you're not already standing, sit back down. We're going to start with these folks.
Okay. Now, do you want to... So, in a nice, clear voice, you may say your name.
Your pronouns. And your question. Yes. If you want to give your pronouns. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Okay. I'm Connor. I use he, him. And my question is for Travis.
Are you dressed as Argo Keen?
Yes.
Nice.
I'm glad someone noticed.
Then why is your question for Travis? No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I just wanted to know if you could tell us anything about how, like, if you're working with Griffin on the music in the next arc, and how that's going to look since he's not DMing and shouldn't be spoiled for things.
Yes, so at this point, Griffin has written a bunch of, like, I don't want to use this word, but I can't think of a different one, generic, like, themes for graduation based off of, like, what he knows about the world and the feeling of the world. And then as we've recorded episodes, if there's a moment in it, we record on the Tuesday before, so like 10 days before it goes out. So if there's something in the episode where it's like, oh, I think that this should be specifically underscored with a specific thing, he has a little bit of lead time to work on it. I have been playing with the music programs to try to figure it out. So far, I'm not good at it. Oh no. But
Somebody who agrees with you.
yeah, the thing is Griffin of the three McElroy brothers is easily the most musically talented. And no, you know what? Of the McElroys, Dad doesn't play any instruments. I don't know why I hedged that. What do you play?
But I'm a terrific singer.
Yeah, but Griffin sings and plays guitar and plays like.
Well, I wasn't
keyboard.
disagreeing with you. I'm just offering up a counter argument.
Okay. And of the four, I am easily the least musically inclined. So I do not play any instruments, and I am a passable singer. But so I'm more trying to get a feel for it, so I know what to ask him for.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
A great vibe to bring to it.
I smiled.
So long as you smile, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So my name is Alex. I go by she, her.
Hello.
And I have a prophecy for you,
Nice.
Travis. I just want to let you know.
Am I gonna die? Like
Not
ever?
yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But the prophecy is that graduation is going to be a wonderful success.
Hey,
and we're
thank you.
all looking forward to seeing more.
Thank you, Intrid.
I love that. Not that I'm very proud of it. I'm so happy that so many people have told me they like it. You only have 2 data points so far. So it's like episode 3 could be bad, and at which point 33% of it would be terrifying. But no, it's going to be great.
Okay, so going to my question. Balance, Amnesty, all of those have had so many amazing, wonderful moments. And I know for me personally, in my D&D games, especially with one of my characters, it's been years. I still have moments with my character that still resonate, still hit me, still sometimes make me cry. Are there any moments in either of those campaigns or even in the smaller campaigns that still, even now, just like you think about it and it just really hits you in any emotional, like any emotional way, or even you're just like, why did I even fucking do that?
So yeah, the answer is of course yes. Lots and lots and lots of here's the thing, because I don't want to be too Travis about it. I will say that most of the feelings I have about Adventure Zone are ones of like pride, of like I'm very proud, and a lot of that is very rarely myself. The scenes between John and Merle, I'm very proud of those. I think those are great. The stuff with Taco and Loop and the Stolen Century, I'll tell you the moment I'm most proud of, that I think that it's one of, I think, the best collaborative moments we've ever had. So in Stolen Century, there's the moment where we go and find a world where it's just all robots possessed by spirits, right? And we actually recorded that twice. And the first time we recorded it, the resolution to that world was very bleak.
Yeah.
I think would be the word for it. And we finished it, and immediately we all started calling it, like 20 minutes later, like all called each other like, I am not happy with that. That didn't feel right. That was not the right way to do that. It felt like it got really dark in a way that isn't right for the shows or the characters. So we re-recorded it. And it ended up being something that I was very, very proud of, because we didn't just say like, well, it is what it is. What are you gonna do? And we took a second run at it, and we were all on the same page about it.
I think any time that the that the 3 guys kind of came together and started working together, to me, and I mentioned this in a session earlier today, for me, the whole fulcrum, the whole balancing point for balance was Arms Outstretched, which just happened, and it was a very clear distillation of what I think makes the Adventure Zone so special. I mean, it, honest to God, just happened, and it was kind of a standard. Oh, there goes Magnus's spirit. Okay, and Griffin had a whole not just a scene. I think he had like a whole episode planned of that. And Taco goes to save him. And then Merle goes to save him. And to Griffin's credit, he went with it and he played with it. And it was, for me, a defining moment of not just the arc, but I think the whole series completely. So I was very proud of that. It's hard for me to pick a moment I'm proud of because I'm proud of all three of them so much.
If anybody was just listening to that as a recording, they'd think you meant, I'm just proud of these 3 moments.
My 3 sons, I'm
Yes,
extremely
thank
proud
you.
of
Thank you for being
Robbie, Chip,
specific.
and Ernie.
I also would say in Amnesty, since we're both on the stage, the Aubrey and Ned scene, that was like their last scene together. That to me, because it was one where like Dad and I think we're both acting-wise doing a great job, but also like listening to each other and improvising with each other of like, we didn't discuss beforehand like how that would go and how that would break down and what would happen, and all of it was just kind of, it had very natural peaks to it that I was very, very proud of.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi again.
Hello again. It's nice to see you again.
Third time in a day.
Yes. Please keep coming to things, because if you don't, I don't know who's going to be there.
I'll be here tomorrow.
Perfect.
I'm Nadeem. I use he, she, they, whatever. And my question is for both of you. What sort of other like tabletop role-playing podcasts, like Critical Role, Friends at the Table, all those other ones, do you listen to, and what sort of elements do you take and put, and how do they interact with the Adventure Zone?
I love Magic Tavern a lot. It's
Not quite RPG, but they're playing a big game.
I just recorded an episode with them. It's going to come out in January. I like the whole feel of it. We improv and we ad lib, but man, those guys are out there. They are just hanging out there, and I love that show. That's probably one of my favorites.
For me, Critical Role and the Adventure Zone would not exist if it weren't for Acquisitions Incorporated, the Penny Arcade / D&D live or actual play. That was a big influence. I also really enjoy Broadswords, which is an all-female and non-binary led actual play podcast that actually was where I guested on and created Buckminster Eden and really liked. And one of the things they do is not only underscore, but they do like underscoring of like sounds, like they're in a tavern, which I have started doing in graduation, and I really, really like as part of like a world building thing. So that's why that happens in graduation, because I'm inspired by them.
Fate and the Fable Maidens, if anybody has ever heard. Fate and the
Maidens.
Fable Maidens is a terrific podcast as well.
So yeah, those.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
You can angle the microphone down if you'd like.
Yeah. So you don't have to do the whole question on your tippy toes.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Emma, she, her. So when I first got into the Adventure Zone, one of the biggest factors in doing that was the fact that I had so many friends who were into it and were like telling me, no, you'll really like this. Because I've never...
Didn't. Sorry.
And I've never...
Are you here asking for an apology?
A
No,
refund?
the opposite, actually. I've never really been into D&D, so the Adventure Zone was kind of my introduction to it and sort of got me into it. But that being said, my question is, when you first began creating and drafting and recording the Adventure Zone, did you expect it to become as big as it has become, or was it?
Absolutely not.
No, not the least.
It was the original intention for it was going to be a one-off episode to be filler for when Justin went on paternity leave when Charlie was born.
For my brother, and me.
Yeah, so it was a filler episode for my brother, and me.
Is that my water, by the way?
That's yours, yeah.
Okay.
Mine's over here. Yours is out there. And so that's why, like, it wasn't. If you listen back to episode 1, Griffin was DMing like the pre-written campaign that came in the starter pack for 5th edition, and so we kind of figured out as we went that it was something people liked. It was like, okay, well, enough people listen to episode 1, I guess we should do another one. And then I would say we didn't start taking it seriously, like as a storytelling thing
Till last week.
till last week, till we got to probably like into Rockport Limited, I would say, because we started to see people like doing cosplay of it and doing like fan art of it and having theories about it. And we would make an offhanded joke, and someone would say like, "Oh, does that mean this and this and this? And what about that?" And it's like, "Oh, like the things we were saying are not just goofs; they're informing the character and the story." And all that. So it took us longer to realize it was a thing than it did the audience, which was cool, I guess.
That we were that dense?
I guess, because the opposite would be worse, right? If you're like, this is the thing, and the audience is like, is it? We'll see.
I'll tell you the truth, no way in hell did we think it was ever going to be as huge as it is. And in addition to that, we are so eternally thankful. I think it's something that we always try to keep in mind. There's a phrase that gets kicked around a lot, fan service. Oh, don't do fan service. But at the same time, I think that we realize that we owe our best efforts to the people who have made us what we are. So even when we do spin-offs like the graphic novels and stuff like that.
Which, by the way, is something like that y'all repeatedly every time blow us away of like, when we put out the first graphic novel was like, people have already listened to Amnesty, or listened to Balance, Is This Anything? And then it hit the New York Times bestseller list at #1, and we're like, oh, great, cool, people liked it. So then when the second one was coming out, it was like, okay, but...
Second graphic novel never sells as well or as quickly as a first graphic novel.
Books don't outsell,
don't.
like a sequel to a book does not outsell the first book, and ours did.
Ours did. And we basically broke the New York Times bestseller list for paperbacks. Because
so now they're going to bring back the graphic novel
they're
list.
bringing back the graphic novel list
Just
now.
before our book came, like 6 months before the first one came out, New York Times consolidated a lot of their stuff and did away with their like individual graphic novel list. And we're like, well, shit. Now we're not going to make it on there. And then we hit it #1, and we're
And
like,
that's
oh,
all.
cool.
That is all because of the fans.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. All right, Aaron, he, him. Have there ever been any moments where you may have not necessarily been entirely satisfied with the way like a character was kind of panning out, like, different aspects of the character didn't kind of come together the way you wanted, but then, like something happened and then it just kind of clicked for you?
One of the cool things about it is that we kind of regulate each other a lot of the times. This goes without saying, but like we've said before, we are improvising this. People always say, you guys, you know what's coming, right? You know that we don't. We never know what's coming from whoever's the DM. We don't rehearse. The only discussions we do about characters and stuff like that are in the initial planning stages, so that we kind of have an idea about, what the dynamics might be and where our story might go. But we are really good after the fact, after recording an episode or something, of saying, calling into question our own characters or each other. Justin is, what was the word you came up with? The
character oversight.
The character oversight person, because I say this in front of this terrifically talented person. Justin creates...
For the record, he pointed at me.
Justin, for those of you listening, Justin creates the most amazing characters. It's remarkable. And he has an innate sense of characterization. And there have been times where he has said, Dad, do you really think so-and-so would do that? And
that was a lot with Ned early on in
A lot with Ned, yeah. It was a very hard thing to not play somebody heroically. Because basically, let's face it, we're doing these stories and it's all about a hero's journey. It's about somebody becoming a hero. And it's really tough to not do the brave thing, early on in a story.
But Justin was right? Because
he wouldn't have earned it.
Right, if you play the character as a coward and then he does something heroic, that resonates way more. If you play a character who is nervous and doubts themselves and then has a moment of self-confidence, that's where it lands, right?
And so we make those little adjustments on an episode by episode basis and adjust the characters. I think that every character we've ever started off with in any arc has been dramatically different by the end of it.
Oh yeah, when I started Magnus,
He wanted us to kill Magnus.
I wanted Magnus to die
He did.
because I didn't want to.
3 episodes in.
Can I tell the story, please?
Yes, I'm sorry. I just love this.
So I wanted Magnus to die because I thought playing a fighter was incredibly boring. I couldn't think of anything to do with him, and I always play rogues or rangers or something like that, a stealth-based fighter, and so that's why I threw him into danger as much as I did, because I was like, it's going to be dramatic and he's going to die. And this is going to be great. And so specifically, this is really clear at the end of Pedals to the Metal, where it's like, yeah, inside this thing, it's all this silver point, and if he gets scratched by it, he'll die. And I was like, great, he rushes right into it. Because I was like, this is going to be so cool. He's going to sacrifice himself, and then I'll get to roll a new character. And then, spoilers if you haven't listened, somebody else, I'll just be vague, somebody else sacrifices themselves. And it hit me, Travis, very hard. Because it was like Magnus could not save them. And in fact, because he had been reckless, they had to save him. And that was like, that hurt me. And in a good way, in a creator way of like, he was not living his truth. And so from that point forward, that's when he started training with Carrie to have rogue skills, and that's why he started taking things more seriously, and he started being a little bit more trepidatious and planning things out better, because I didn't want him to die anymore, because he had learned, and I had learned as the creator, that protecting others was a thing worth living for. And so that was a thing that happened in the moment that changed the course of how I played the character.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi,
Hello.
4th time seeing you.
Hello again. Welcome back.
This is like when you go to the zoo and you get the passport
Yeah.
thing and you see the monkeys and the
One more time and you get a free soda.
Yeah.
Go on.
So I'm Fletcher, he, him. I play D&D also with my family, with my brother and my stepdad, and they're very stickler on the rules. I told them about Fitzroy in graduation, and they're very confused on his spellcasting and being a barbarian. Could you go into that?
So there is a subclass that was introduced in a new, maybe it was in Eberron? I don't know, but in one of the new ones, that's an elemental barbarian. And so he hasn't gotten to use it yet, but basically whenever the barbarian goes into rage mode, rather than it being like a strength thing, basically they roll a d6 and some kind of elemental magic comes into play that strengthens their attack. So on top of that, Griffin also took a feat that I'm trying to remember now, but basically lets you learn 3 spells as cantrip. So I don't want to say we homebrewed it, we didn't, and we didn't min-max it, but it was a very collaborative thing that we got to, right? Because Griffin at first pitched me I want to play a character who was a jock athlete at his school, that then now that he's here and maybe they don't have a good team or whatever, and I was like, well, that doesn't really fit with the core of the world I'm creating, but what if he was training to be a hero there, and now he has to be a sidekick or a henchperson? And Griffin was like, okay, so how did he get here? So then, the thing that made it work for us was that it wasn't he didn't have academic issues and he didn't have behavioral issues. It was mostly just it was this unique thing that no one knew how to deal with, so they just decided rather not to bother with it. So it's not a thing of the classic barbarian who can also cast cantrips. It's not a thing, but it's also not. The first rule in the D&D, in the handbook, Player's Handbook and the Dungeon Master's Guide, is that the DM is always right. And so he didn't cheat. He said, this is what I want to do. And I said, I think that's great, and it doesn't break the game. And so that's the way I see it, is I think that it's a tweaking of a class that doesn't break the class and doesn't break the game, so I'm totally cool with it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Ray, she, her.
Hello, Ray.
This is a two-part question.
Okay.
One for each of you that actually has nothing to do with the Adventure Zone.
Perfect.
Part one, Clint, what is the biggest lie that you told your children?
I'm proud of you. No.
No, that was second. Okay, I will tell a story. That's not as bad as you might think. I took them to Kings Island one time. Their mother and I went to Kings Island, and it was in summer. So back then, the Kings Island had they had all kinds of licensing deals. It's come and gone, Universal and all kinds of different places. But they had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they were, surrounded by all these people.
It was right after the Coming Out of Our Shells tour.
Yeah.
I remember it plain as day.
So I don't know. You were probably 7,
8, yeah, I think so.
7 or 8,
Right.
and Justin was like 10 or 11, and Griffin was like 5. And so there was this huge crowd around the Turtles. They had gotten these little autograph books where you get people to sign.
Like an autograph book.
Yeah, sort of like an autograph book. So they wanted the autographs of the Turtles, and it was going to take a half an hour. And we had all these things to ride.
But here's the thing. My heroic dad went back after the fact and got those signatures.
Yeah, I went back. I went to that crowd, got those signatures, and then came back, and they were all excited. And we still have those autograph books. And it wasn't until a few years ago I said, guys, I was the one that wrote those autographs.
Now, here's the thing about that. I was very angry about it when he told me this. Not actually angry adult Travis, but angry on behalf of kid Travis. And then I realized that I was angry that my dad didn't get the real Turtles signatures. And then I thought, those were just dudes in a suit anyway. Like, who cares? This is nothing. And so I forgive you.
Breakthrough!
And what is your part 2, Ray?
What's the biggest lie you've told your father?
Oh my
I
God.
love you!
I don't know. I've never lied to my dad.
There's one. Now he's lied to you, Ray.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Well, then what's the best one?
Yeah, what is the best one?
The best lie I've ever told my dad?
Preferably one that I still don't know was a lie.
No, can I tell you, this is not me trying to get out of it. The honest answer is I do not have a very good memory for basically anything that goes back more than like 5 years ago. I memorize things, I remember things in pictures or in stories. So the idea, if you gave me enough time, I could probably think of something, but as it is now, like, I don't remember. If I haven't told a story, I'll tell you a funny story that has nothing to do with the lie I told. When I was a kid, it was, I want to say, like January, snow outside, like 6 inches of snow. Griffin and I were home from school, and I beat Goldeneye for the first time. And I was so excited, I picked up a plastic knife and threw it at Griffin and yelled, "Throwing knife!" And that guy, that little jerk, moved out of the way, and it shattered a window. And I immediately called our mom and was like, "Hey, Mom, funny story." Because that's the thing is I didn't often lie so much as I just reframed things and expressed them in such a way that I knew would minimize the amount of trouble. Because I'm going to get caught doing this thing. I'm not that good of a liar. So instead, I'll just frame it in such a way that it's like, "Oh, Travis, what a scamp." That's probably the best answer I've got.
Nice cop-out. I'll
Thank you.
accept it.
Hello.
Hi, I'm short.
That's okay.
Okay, so me and my aunt, we saw you live at Nashville.
Uh-huh.
And I loved Hootenanny
Thank you.
a lot. Shoots McCracken is best boy.
I agree.
So I was just wondering how you felt that entire time throughout the whole, show.
It was pretty awesome, to be honest with you. We had done shows in Nashville before, but they booked us in the Ryman Auditorium, the home church of country music. And so we knew that at the end of it, if we were successful in what we did, we would actually be singing a song legitimately on the stage where some of the greatest entertainers of generations have performed. And
Including Houdini. I'm just saying, it's not a country
Houdini
music
did,
thing,
yeah.
but
And so it was really cool. And then it's one of those things where I have told them before, listen, really be in the moment for this unique experience that we've got, and the fact that what you call us, knuckleheads? Mm-hmm. 4 knuckleheads.
I think I actually said chuckleheads, but that's
4 chuckleheads are standing on the stage of the Ryman Auditorium actually singing. That was amazingly crazy. So I think that was kind of very impressive for us, to ourselves.
For me, I was incredibly nervous, specifically about the singing part, because as I said, so I did choir and musical theater all my life, and I am an okay singer.
He did show choir too.
And I did show choir too. I'm not embarrassed about that. I did chamber choir as well. I'm an
You
okay
didn't mention
singer.
it.
I'm an okay singer. I said choir. I included that. Get off my case, old man. But the thing is like, I know it's not necessarily like one of my strong suits. And here's the secret, I think, to being a good performer. Only do stuff you're good at. And so it was very nerve-wracking for me. But what really helped, and this is not a lie, is that before we went on stage, before we started the show, we sat in a green room and practiced it. And BB and Charlie and Cooper were there, and they were all dancing along. And when we finished, they made us sing it again.
And to this day, they all will. We'll be playing with one of them doing something else, and one of them will start singing to themselves. I grew up on my planet raising space worms.
For like 2 weeks, BB made me sing it to her for bedtime. So that helped a lot.
It's really cute. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, hi, I'm Cameron.
Hi.
She, her,
You can angle the mic up if you want.
probably. Okay, so I have, I guess, 2 questions. First
Okay.
off, how are both of you?
Doing great.
I'm all right.
Okay.
I slept until 9:30.
Born to be wild.
Okay, and then the second thing, what was it like filming a show?
So it was a lot, is the thing. So because of the nature of it, we didn't script it or anything like that. We had like beats figured out. We were like, we're gonna go to this location, but then from then it wasn't like, and we'll do this. The clearest memory I have of the show, at least the clearest bad memory I have of the show, is, and we filmed everything sequentially. So like right at the beginning, when we went and actually to film at the dorms about like the ghoul smashing, and we were standing in front of the dorm, and it was just supposed to be like a quick 5 seconds, like, hey, it's us, we're here, let's do it. And we were so awkward, we couldn't do it. Like they put the cameras on, they turned the cameras on, and I go, and we're like, hey, so we're and can we start? Like we could not do it. And it took probably 20 takes for us to basically say, we're here at the Marshall dorms, let's get in there and smash some ghoul. And like that was it. And it took us like an hour and a half to get it. And it was like the second shot we did of the show. And we were starting to think like, is it too late to not do this? And so we were filming like 14-hour days, like 6 days a week. We filmed for each 22-minute episode, we filmed about 23 hours of footage. And a lot of it was like, I don't know if this is anything. I don't know what we'd sit down and start recording and be like, is this anything? And then we were also like recording the podcast and stuff as we went. So like, it was a lot. And that's the thing now when people are like, when are we gonna get a season 2? And the thing is like, philosophically, we'd love to do a season 2. But the problem is when we did season 1, we like the only child that existed at that point for us was Charlie. And now there's Charlie and Cooper and Henry and BB and soon to be Baby Dot. So the idea of like, and for 4 weeks we just won't be home. Like we can't really do that anymore. But yes, the answer was it was very tough. But also it's still one of the things I'm most proudest of that we've made. Right? It's so fun to watch, and I think it's great. I watch it now though and think I don't know how it got to there. And the answer to that is JD Amato.
JD Amato. A lot of the times with a TV show, it's the person who you entrust with the product. And JD just came in and was terrific to work with and gave them terrific guidance on.
He understood us, like he understood what made us not only funny but comfortable, and so he was really, really good at setting us up for success and then editing it. And like that's the thing is JD took a huge pay cut to do the show. And then he was also only contracted through the filming of it. And he voluntarily stayed through the editing process and the post-production as well. So the show would not be what it is without JD Amato.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Oh my God.
I know.
Yeah?
I'm Rocket, and I use he, him.
Hello.
Hello. I have 2 questions.
Okay.
Have they legalized ranchos yet? No. Okay. And my second question is, what is y'all's favorite goof or joke from the Adventure Zone, any of it? My personal favorite is Zone of Truth, and I have a button that says it.
My favorite is the running gag that Clint McElroy is the plane walker who appears. It's going to show up a lot more as we do more one-off live shows too. It came up a lot over the last couple live shows that like Clint McElroy exists throughout time and space. It's so fucking funny to me every time I have the idea of him being an embezzling janitor in Balance is still one of the funniest moments of that show to me.
And it happens because I will forget to do a character voice. Imagine that. and then, boy, they jump on it real
so
fast.
Funny. Oh, it's so good.
They kill me, everything they say. I think the first really hysterically, I couldn't stop laughing a moment was Abracafuck You.
Yeah. Yeah, Magic Brian dying at the bottom of the thing always gets me. Like, that's the thing. I could sit here and list. There are moments that I think still to this day are so funny. Justin, I know it's new, but Justin in the accounting class.
Yeah.
That was so much fun to play off of. That's so great. Like, there's a moment, the bell ringing thing in Dust. With Errol ringing the bell to like get everyone out, and they're like, "Why did you wake us up?" It's so good to me. Oh, I think it's so funny. And basically, like half the stuff Taco said is just gold.
Yeah. We amuse ourselves.
Yeah. So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi.
We're gonna just side note real quick. Everybody, hold up from standing up for questions for just a second, because I want to clear through some of these people so there's not too long a line. Hello.
Hi. I'm Thurman. He, him, Ace.
Hello.
So I've been playing role-playing games for almost a decade now, and I have taken turns being both a role player and the dungeon daddy of sorts. So my question, since the both of you have played both roles, which is your favorite, and what are the challenges or the most challenging parts of either or both?
I like doing both. They're very different.
Yes, they are.
Because for me, so the thing is I really like control, and I really like to be in control. And so, but it's 2 different modes of that. When you're the DM, you are in control because you're setting up things, right? But then you lose control as soon as you start playing. And if you're the player character, you then take over control as you are creating the story. So I think that the difference is like if you're a player character, you can make a moment go a certain way, but if you're the DM, you can set up a moment in a certain way. So I really like doing both.
I enjoyed DMing Commitment, but at the same time, I can't remember a single thing that happened in it. That is, now here's why. I was so busy concentrating on trying to follow what I had planned and the storyline and the clues I needed to drop and the characterizations. I listened back to it and said, hey, that was okay. That wasn't too bad. But I can sit down here and recreate for you just about recording every episode of every other arc. But that one, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it, but apparently I didn't dig it in the moment as much as I do doing the show. So I would like to DM again sometime because I learned a lot from that first batch. But yeah, I really like playing.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello. Great glasses.
Thanks.
How well can you actually see?
Can you see us?
Not so well because I have actual real glasses.
I see.
So I had to take those off because it was like really uncomfortable.
I understand. Anyways, thanks for coming. Sorry, what was your question?
So this is about Monster Factory because I like to watch that all of the time.
Now, I want to warn you. I can answer questions about it, but we're not on it. That's okay. You can still ask questions. That's fine.
Oh wait, no, I'm dumb. I'm sorry. I get confused because you sound a lot like.
That's fine. Listen, I've watched every episode, and I know how they make it. So if you want to ask questions about Monster Factory, I can answer it. It'll be fun because I'll give you the real scoop.
I'm sorry. I got confused. I was thinking of multiple questions to ask, but I'm being dumb. So
No, you're not. This is fine. We're having a great time. It's nice hanging out with you.
My best friend is the DM for the campaign I'm in. And he's always doing DM PCs, and the players don't like that. But what do you think about it? Do you think that's like a good idea?
Like he's having player characters, but as the DM?
Yeah.
Okay, not to tell anyone else what to do, but I think that that's having your cake and eating it too. Of like I was just saying, like you have to be willing to give up control. As I think doing that. Here's the way I'll put it. That's like building an escape room and then doing it too, right? Like it's clearly cheating, right? And so that idea of like it's too easy for a DM player character to make the other player characters do things the way the DM wants them to, which feels to me like you're forcing the hand a little bit, right? Like that's there's a reason that that's not a standard way of playing it, I would say.
And where's the enjoyment? I mean, if you are playing the characters within your own storyline, I can't imagine he's having a very good time.
Now that said, I will say in this circumstance, like with graduation, one of the things that I'm excited about is that by its very nature, since they are psychics and villains, or psychics and hench people, there will be a hero or villain with them, right? But that's different, right? Because I'm not going to have them participate in like, here, I have an idea. Oh, he's going to roll to see if he does this, right? You can have an NPC who is very present and very part of the scene, but that's not the same as having a player character who's like making skill checks and their roles determine the pathway of stuff and they're contributing to the decisions.
Oh, okay. Oh, and just one more question. So what advice would you have for someone who's having trouble with like role-playing their character, like who can't make a very strongly characterized
Don't
character?
overthink it. So I had a piece of advice in acting school that I use a lot in my real life because I don't act anymore. And it was a teacher who said, do what you would do and don't do what you wouldn't do. So just think about it that way. It's like if you don't overthink it to be like, I need to come up with a creative thing to do, or I need to figure out the best way to do this. Like if you get asked a question, like does your character talk to them? Just say yes or no and see how it goes, right? Like just play the moment and don't overthink it.
Use your own persona as your baseline. Play off of that.
Oh, thanks. That's a lot of help.
Hope that helps.
You're welcome.
I don't want to hog it.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Ray. I use they, them. I wanted to piggyback off of another question. Earlier you mentioned how when you first started the podcast, you didn't really take your characters very seriously, and you kind of just were fill-farting around because you expected, for instance, Magnus to die pretty quick.
Yep.
So my question is there anything that, looking back now, you would go back and change about your characters that you didn't really fully think through, knowing how the story progressed? Or alternatively, what's your favorite kind of like one-off goofy, silly thing that then became like integral to your characters?
Well, actually, we have had that opportunity because with the graphic novels, we have been able to go back and tweak this and tweak that. The key is, what do you change to make it better for the overall story, and what do you not change because it was really weird and really quirky and people really dug it? You have to find those things. I fought like crazy in the first graphic novel adaptation to keep Girl from Ipanema in the elevators. And it became everybody's favorite after that. So it's been like a running gag. Well, some of us like it. But yeah, that we have had the rare opportunity to go back and try to change things just to make them fit better. Not, nothing drastic. We get asked all the time about why we changed the names of characters.
Legal reasons.
Yeah, and so
hypothetically, actually, just side note, Wizards of the Coast was actually very cool about it. And they're like, "Yeah, you don't have to change it; it's fine." And we said, like, "Well, it feels ooky to us," and so we didn't change it because they made us. We changed it because we felt weird making money off of other people's like creations. But for me, as far as changing things character-wise, the answer is no. And without going into too much detail about it, like so I study Zen Buddhism, and I am of the opinion that the collection of things that has happened and the things that have brought you to where you are is the series of things that had to happen, because if any one of them didn't, the universe would have torn apart, and that the universe is self-sustaining, and the thing that happens next is the thing that needed to happen next in order for the thing after it to happen. And so the way I look at it is, I'm really proud of Balance, I'm really proud of Dust, I'm really proud of Commitment and Amnesty and all of those. And I don't think they would have been what they were without the things that happened in them. And I think that if we had been trying to constantly make something that was perfect and that there was nothing, if there was nothing we would change about it, then it wouldn't have been something we were proud of.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sophia. I use she, her pronouns.
Hello.
I love the Adventure Zone, but I actually wanted to ask about Journey into Mystery that you guys worked on. I really loved the cast list in that book, and I was wondering if you guys got to choose who was in it, or if Marvel kind of handed you a set of characters.
Okay,
and was,
so here it is. We probably 8 different pitches of like, what about this person? Is this person free? And my favorite one was we wanted Aunt May to be in the crew, and they said, Aunt May's taken. How about Spider-Man? And we were like, okay.
Yeah, Miles Morales. Okay, going in, we knew that we wanted it to be fun and funny and not heavy, but it was going to be a 5-issue road trip, so we wanted it to be a story that was kind of sustaining. So we didn't want to necessarily go with the top tier characters. We didn't want it to be the Avengers. We wanted
They
people,
wouldn't have let us have them. Just side note. And we were like, we'll take Tony Stark. Like, oh, fuck you.
But the only reason we didn't get Aunt May, and I'm going to tell you this right up, Marvel was amazing to work with. And the reason Aunt May couldn't be in it is because this was part of the War of the Realms, the whole overline. I mean, they're everything for whatever it was, 4, 5, 6 months. And she was already involved in a storyline. They never said, oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
No, they never.
They just said, like, oh, she's already booked.
She's already booked. We had a S.H.I.E.L.D. Flying car, and they said, well, there is no more S.H.I.E.L.D. It's going to have to be Agents of Wakanda. Oh, okay. So those were the only changes they made. So we basically started picking heroes around sort of the joke. We knew that Balder, Thor's brother, was going to be kind of leading the group, and that he's been out of action for a while. So he started rattling off all these people he wanted. He wanted Hawkeye. He wanted Spider-Man.
Deathlock.
He wanted all these characters. And so they said, okay. And it ended up being, Kate Bishop Hawkeye and on and on.
Who I think is the best Hawkeye.
But
That's the right answer.
Correct. There were 2 that I would say we started off. I was very adamant that I wanted Wonder Man. I love Wonder Man very much, and I love the idea of this. So there was a time in like the 90s where Wonder Man was considered like one of the top 10 most powerful superheroes in the Marvel universe. There was, I can't remember what it was in, but he beat Hulk in a fight. And then they made him a pacifist. And a true pacifist who won't even fight to defend himself. And that to me was so interesting and still is. I'm very obsessed with it. And I've been developing in my head an idea for like a Wonder Man miniseries. But I love this idea because to me, Wonder Man represents the idea of someone learning about privilege, about like having all of this power and influence and not realizing that even in trying to do good, you can do damage by not being aware of your influence and your privilege. And so becoming a true pacifist to say like, well, I need to figure out what it means to use my privilege and not hurt somebody. So anyway, so that, and also we wanted a talking dog. And like, those are the two things that we were like, we need Wonder Man and a talking dog.
And so it kind of built from there. And the funny thing about getting Miles Morales was when they told us they wanted us to use Miles Morales, it was before Into the Spider-Verse.
It's like 3 months before Into the Spider-Verse
had come out. And so our reaction was, oh, okay.
Now, that was not my reaction. My reaction was, we get to write Spider-Man, that's awesome. Yes, yes, yes. And then Into the Spider-Verse came out, and we're like, ha, suckers!
We knew it all along.
He's ours now.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. We didn't get Spider-Ham next time.
Okay.
In the sequel.
Journey into Mystery 2.
Hello again.
Hi again. I have two questions I was kind of going back and forth between asking, so I guess I'll phrase it this way. Can I ask a question about something that was in the workshop, or would you rather I ask my other question?
Well, that's one question right there. Ask your other question.
Okay, so I am in a Blades in the Dark group with one of my like best friends. Like we pretty much consider each other like siblings. We're close enough. And I have 2-player characters, and both of them are involved with one of the NPCs, and I did not choose either of those. It just kind of happened both times. So, Travis, I was wondering, how do you navigate a player character, DM character romance with somebody who it's really uncomfortable to like probably be doing romantic stuff with?
Like your own brother?
Like your own brother.
No,
or your son or your dad?
No, here's the thing. The actual answer is that you have to play the character, right? Mm-hmm. Because here's the thing. It's only weird. Imagine instead of like saying it out loud, the two of you were writing a script together, that would not be weird, right? If you were writing lines for one character and they were writing lines for another, now you're just writing it together, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's not weird. And so you're saying it out loud rather than writing it down. But it's not like you don't mean it, right? It's not a thing, it's not real. It is fake. Now, that doesn't extend forever. I think it would be weird to have two people, like, in a movie who are brother and sister, like, playing love interest. That would be weird. Mm-hmm. But you're writing together. You're writing a story together. And so I think you just have to play it honestly and play the character, and the character will make the decisions that they make. And, you know, also make sure that the person that you're doing the scene with is comfortable, and that everyone else is comfortable, and you're just trying to write a good story and not trying to make it something it's not. You know, don't force it, but also don't kill it just because it's weird. Because that's the other thing is, like, if you look at Amnesty, Aubrey and Danny's relationship wasn't, like, explicitly sexual or whatever, right? It was just nice. Like, they just liked each other. And if you look at, like, Taco and Kravitz, it's not like, well, that got graphic, right? It's just nice. And even Griffin himself with, like, Barry Blue Jeans and Loop, right? It's just nice, and it's just romantic and sweet. And, like, that's the thing is, it doesn't have to be like, and then they smooch a bunch, you know, for it to be a romantic relationship. I mean, ask any, you know, asexual person, like, can you have romance in a relationship? Like, yeah, absolutely, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, that's the thing is, I think you just have to be honest with the characters and play the scene the way it needs to be played without being afraid to be romantic, but also recognizing that romantic doesn't have to be explicit for it to exist.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Sam. He, him, and they, them.
Hello.
I'm very excited to meet you guys.
I'm excited to meet you too.
Don't say that, I'll cry.
Oh, no, don't cry. Oh, man. Now I feel bad. I'm not excited to meet you.
No, that's not good either. We're ambivalent
Yes.
about meeting you.
This means nothing to me. No, please, Sam, go on.
I've actually been I've had a lot of free time to listen to things. I've been re-listening to some of your mini arcs, your little mini games. I'm in the middle of working on Commitment, and I was wondering if you guys are ever going to revisit like Dust or Commitment, if that's ever going to happen. Is that going to happen?
Yes.
Because you said earlier, you're like, oh, I don't know about DMing.
No. I definitely want to go back to Commitment. One thing to keep in mind is that we now have, how do I put this? We now have options.
We have avenues.
For other media to pursue.
So maybe we'll
storylines.
write, what he's saying, he's being cagey, but maybe we'll write some, comic books about him or whatever. Who knows?
Which would lend itself to the form because it's from a comic book story. But that's not to say we wouldn't do another podcast arc on it.
I will say, though,
enjoyed
with Dust, I did not create Dust to be sustainable, which I realized as I was doing it. Like, I put far too much work into it, and it was like, the reason I liked doing it so much is it was a mystery, and I don't think then I could do it again that way. But maybe, who knows? Okay, we're going to answer these last questions real quick. Thank you so much, Sam. Hello.
Hi, I'm Holly, she, her.
Hello, Holly.
True.
Sounds weird.
Next.
Okay. We have to hurry. We're running out of time.
Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I want to say I'm very glad you didn't kill off Magnus. He's been like one of my favorite characters over like all of the Adventure Zones.
I'm glad.
Good.
And
good
what
job.
is your question, Holly?
Okay. Kind of leads into it. How good? Like, sorry.
That's okay.
That's a word. I'm learning to DM, and I'm having trouble building like good, relatable characters. Do you have any like advice on building like a solid character?
Yes, I can answer that very quickly.
Okay.
Don't build the character. Have a basic like skeleton idea, and then let them react to the player characters, and that will make the player characters more interested in them than if you just drop a whole person in and say, "Now deal with this."
Okay.
And
Thank
another.
Thank you. No, we have to move to the next one. Go. Next person. You can answer this one. Thank you, Holly.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Jackson, he, him, and I wanted to know, is there like a difference for you guys between Theater of the Mind and playing something like Tiny Heist where you have like 3D sets in front of there, and which do you prefer?
We really had a blast doing Tiny Heist. I'm a big believer in Theater of the Mind because, I spent 44 years in radio, and that's just Theater of the Mind. I mean, not just old-time radio, but current radio. And so there was a real cool element to Tiny Heist that we really enjoyed. It was also for video, so it was kind of necessary. But it was a nice refresher, but I like the way that we do things, So I guess Theater of the Mind is probably our preference.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Hi, I'm Elliot. I use he, him.
Hello.
And my question is for Clint.
Okay.
How would you describe Ned? Because he's really such a complex character.
A big blowhard, I think. Ned was.
Okay, that's a great. Next. Sorry,
No,
we got
no,
two more.
no, don't do
real
that
quick.
to me.
Sorry, too quick. Go.
Hi, I'm Todd. I use he, him. And my question is, what's your favorite interaction your character has had with another character in the Adventure Zone?
The Ned and Aubrey conversation. Go.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Last question.
Hi, my name is Talon, he, him. I need you to know, first of all, I would die for Aubrey and
Thank you.
Merle.
Please
Aubrey's
don't.
my wife.
Okay.
I
And your
might.
question.
Really quickly, did Aubrey and Danny ever actually move in together?
Yes. Thank you so much. Everybody have a good night. Thank you. That's going to do it for us. Thank you.